I am the seed that grows and advances the kingdom for soul winning. This word, bread of life, that I received today is not only for me, but to be shared with others that they may grow in Christ as well as myself for the purpose of successful living. I want to say thank you. Welcome into the early bird service for those that are in person, of course, those that are joining us online, and of course to the virtual campus and to the mother campus and to all of our global connections. We're going to get right to it today. Our scripture is going to come out of First Peter, the third chapter, verse 10. Our topic today is say no, it's okay. What we're going to do, it says, for whosoever loves life. But there's a thing that I want to read or have read to us that will set us up to understand one of the things about coming to Christ, and then there's another level of things you have to take out. So when we look at the text and we look at the Bible, whoever would love life. So that means that you have a choice, and many times sight, ears, reading can affect your choices and affect your faith. So at this time, we'll have the reading.
Psychological warfare, using propaganda, misinformation, and psychological tactics to influence enemy emotions, motives, and behavior, aiming to demoralize them, sway public opinion, or strengthen allies, often through media, rumors, or covert operations. Tactics range from spreading false news, black propaganda, and truthful but biased info, white propaganda, to electronic warfare and creating fear, impacting morale, increasing confusion, and weakening resolve, with defenses involving critical thinking and information verification. Goals and types: demoralize and break will, to make adversaries lose the will to fight or resist; influence opinion, to sway populations or enemy soldiers to support one's position; strengthen allies, to boost the morale and resolve of friendly forces and civilians. The different types of propagandas: white, truthful, cited source; gray, mostly true, no resource; black, false or deceitful, fake resource. Tactics used: propaganda, leaflets, radio broadcasts, videos, social media; misinformation, spreading false rumors or fake news; electronic warfare, jamming enemy communications; emotional manipulation, creating fear, confusion, or inducing guilt; winning hearts and minds, winning over populations through media or targeted messages; impact on individuals and society. Individual can cause anxiety, guilt, loss of group identity, withdrawal, or even refusal to fight. Societal undermines trust, creates division, alters belief systems, and fuels conflict. Defense against psychological warfare: critical thinking, questioning information and sources; information verification, fact checking, and seeking multiple perspectives; self awareness, recognizing personal vulnerabilities to manipulation; and lastly, resilience, strengthening internal belief systems and national cohesion.
Thank you. I know that's a lot, but you can, as they say these days, Google it. A couple things, two things I want us to look at is emotional manipulation and the point of critical thinking. Most people have issues with God, with church, because the perception has been taught that God needs to give you everything you want, but yet we do things within our own bodies and our own systems to destroy and handicap ourselves. And so, because I can't have my way, then people take advantage of emotions that are unstable and begin to manipulate people. So, what I wrote was, in order for us to effectively transition, something must die. There are some things we have to put away because many things outside of God has so much influence on us that we cannot discern between what's right and what's wrong. One of the things I'll share with you, many people are adults now, or young adults, but still trying to get back to things that they lost in their childhood. So then all of a sudden, you're 23, you're 25, you're 30, you're 40, you're 50. And because this particular thing did not happen in the seventh grade, because you didn't make the T-ball team or the basketball team or the cheerleading team, you are still fighting over a moment that no longer exists. And what happens is other people study you to manipulate you. So people say, I work hard, but most people, the average American, doesn't even have $400 saved up anywhere. But yet we look like something, but we don't live like something. And so when we look at this, it says many times we're still trying to get back at things that were lost in our childhood and trying to live our life through our children. Many times people are pumping up their children and bragging on their children and their grandchildren when they have not taught them the fundamental basis of life. This is when I look at the text in the narrative for the generations that we have now, for whoever would love life. And part of loving life is giving back to the source that gave you life. Because many times people look at now and says, well, church is not necessary, worship is not necessary. I understand our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. But the Bible also says, forsake not to assemble yourself. Because we receive it. The Bible says where there's unity, there's strength. We put more time in pleasurable things than we put in the preparation to worship God. But yet we ask God, then we get offended with God when A and B and C and D didn't go our way. Now we get offended with God. We go to other people's things and go to court and respect the court, but we have no respect for God. And so then you're going to have to ask yourself, am I giving God my best? Am I giving the energy that I have to prepare to worship, to prepare to learn? Have I cleansed my mind? Have I opened my spirit to receive? Or am I just going to a place, which now sometimes the church is like the new movie theater? I'm going to get my popcorn and I'm going to listen. But when do you engage? If God took the time to develop you, when do you engage back time with the Creator? So some of the things that we have to realize is that what happens is when we look at this form of manipulation, and I saw the emotional manipulation, is people are on guilt trips. They're on guilt trips from what didn't happen for what they thought should have happened. But here's the question. What did you prepare to happen? We wake up and we've been taught because of propaganda and psychological warfare. Now, that's just psychological warfare. That is not even talking about generational curses. That's talking about the influence of other people on you, and then you're already dealing with generational curses and not even talking about spiritual warfare. Psychological warfare is talking about your everyday process, how you eat, how you spend your money, what you watch, what you do. It doesn't say anything about your spiritual growth. How do you fight with poison and beat the poison? I'm just saying. I have a lot of material, but I'm just saying. So psychological warfare puts us on guilt trips, and so because I'm on a guilt trip, now I'm gonna lose my foundation. And when I lose my foundation, now comfort becomes my denial. So for those that are writing, the first thing is a guilt trip. Emotional manipulations, what I see, what I hear, because it talks about how everything looked like it's just going well. It's just going well. And, everybody, well, look at them and they're doing this and look at them. And it's all deception. How many times have you awakened so far in the 11th day of the year and looked at something and said, this is deceitful? This is a trap. Because if they've tapped into your emotional intellect and emotional manipulation, then they're telling you and making you feel like, well, I should have what they have and I should have what he has, but you haven't done what they've done. And so one of the things of manipulations is people are trying to live above their parents. It took your parents 30 years to get there, and you're trying to get there in 6 months. And let me explain something to you. It's more than just a degree. You have no experience, because you can be wise and you can be smart, but you don't know how to work the process. And so people look at their parents like, oh, I should be able to do better than this. Then that means you don't understand your history. And I'm going to make it plain. You're trying to get to $1 million house on minimum wage. Have no life insurance. Have no emergency fund. Have a car that you won't repair or keep the service up on. But yet you expect to have a certain appearance. And so what we're dealing with here is read the first part, psychological warfare. Yeah. So who's going to deal with the spiritual warfare? Who's going to deal with the generational curses? And you think God's going to come and pick you up while you be lazy? You think God's going to invest in you again and you are still in comfort, you're in guilt trips? Because you're trying to get back what no longer exists. No, let's be truthful. You're trying to be spiteful and get even. Then you look at your parents, and because, mom won't let you have your way, dad won't let you have your way, you just think you could this one little degree is going to shoot me right by them. This working in a manufacturing or working in an office, I am better than where my parents were. No. You don't even know how to understand and discern deceitful manipulation. More money don't mean more brains. More money don't mean more wisdom. And so parents get caught up on, oh, my son or my daughter or my grandchild. But what are you investing? What are you putting in them? What are you putting in them? And then you wonder why they get up and act like a wild rabbit and they over here and they over there, because you didn't settle them. You catered to their emotions and never told them about their reality. You never taught them how to deal with denial. You never taught them how to deal with the word no. So everybody here say no.
Say no.
It's okay.
It's okay.
And so when you won't say no to people, you open the door for them to continue to manipulate you, because then you think you're going to lose them. If they love you, if they're going to stay with you, they will take the truth. If they can't take the truth and you're trying to take the truth, then let them loose. The Bible says shake the dust off your shoes. Yes, they're good. Yes, they're attractive. Yes, they got a good job. Yes, they look good. They got all of that. But what they don't have is a relationship with God. And the problem is you married for the moment and not for the future. You married for security. You married her because she was cute. You married him because he had hair with a part and it was wavy. That was back in the day. That's before y'all time. We used to go to the barber shop every week. Now you got people, let me make it plain, won't even wash their tail once a week. Yes. Look good, but stink inside and outside. Here's the thing. Here's what it could. It comfort denial. So I'm comfortable because I'm with my boys, I'm with my girls, I'm with my friends. I got this certain look, I got this certain appeal, I have this job, I have a desk. But you don't have any common sense and no navigation from God. Here's the thing. You know what it boils down to? Undisciplined behaviors. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to hurt. Y'all not parents, are you?
No.
Say, okay, so I'm not a parent. So I want you to look at the parents. Most parents feed their children undisciplined behaviors because they don't know how to say no. Before the world is the standard, the parent should be the standard.
That's right.
And after the parent is the standard, the church should be the standard. And after the church is the standard, the community should be the standard. Most kids do not have any discipline They just do what they want to do. 4 years old, cursing. You know where they get it from? And you know where they hear it at?
The music.
Actually, don't look. You see what I'm saying? They took out, let me say it real country. They took our televisions and put them on our phones. And now we're blaring stuff. So what we're doing is we're taking innocent people and putting them in an adult environment.
It's the phone.
Yeah. And so now you go to school and you're in kindergarten and we think it's funny when a 5-year-old kid is using vulgar language to a teacher. Why is that relevant? Yeah. Why is that relevant? If you won't listen to humanity, then how will you listen to God? So it's got to take prison, house arrest, brokenness, near death. And then by the time you wake up around 35, 40, want to get your life together, you got so much dirt behind you that people are going to measure you based on your past and not where you are because you're not trustworthy. Number 4, the unwillingness to listen. How do you be 8 and know everything? Yes, because your parents, and now we've got grandparents at the age of 30. Yeah, and then everybody now, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, you can't even support yourself. How can you support anybody else? You have no life insurance. You barely have car insurance. And I know somebody earlier this morning going to say, well, he's talking about that's the only reason if you feel like I'm talking about you because you don't have the things I'm talking about. And I'm talking about the basic fundamental principles of life. And he said, who would love life? If you don't love yourself naturally, it's going to be difficult to love yourself spiritually. If you don't love yourself spiritually, it's going to be difficult to love yourself naturally. The two go hand in hand. We invest in clothes, but never our future. We wear name brands rather than being the brand of who we are. We're proud about our last name, but most of the time our last name have no substance behind it. No lineages, no inheritance. You this or you this, you supposed to that, you supposed to do that. That's all when people want to slap somebody and fight somebody. So you're going to teach a kid to fight and not learn? You're going to show them a karate move and not give them a book? And they don't know how to read. And we're bragging and we're boasting. We got our chests out. The unwillingness to listen. And so what happens is, these are some things that we can avoid. Rejecting change. Because the world is changing. And the world has changed. But as long as we're rejecting change and still trying to live in a moment, then we're trapped in a broken system. We can't engage new systems. We can't engage new ideas. We can't engage new ways. Give you a simple analysis. When my kids was growing up, I wondered why they wouldn't call back. It was the texting generation. So they don't call you. They be right there by their phone. But you call, they don't answer. But you text them, they'll respond. Different generation. And what we don't teach is strategies that could shift the future. Because time is not invested in God. And we're saying yes to everything else except for the Creator who's given us the oxygen to function. Because we're lacking discipline. I looked at it this morning and said, now we're going to move the service to 9 o'clock in February, and I'm still going to do live at 8. I said, but what's going to change? If you can get yourself together at 9, you can get yourself together at 7. Anybody? Boy, it's quiet here. Let me make it plain. Let me make it plain. Psychological warfare. They get you. Anybody got $1? Yeah, you can get it back. I mean, it's just. Let me show you what they do. Pull out $1. I want you to hold it in the air. I don't have one. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hold it up. Hold it up. Hold it up. Hold it up. This is what they do every day, every week. They get you to chase money. But money don't fulfill life. Money don't fulfill. Yes, and oh my God, this is my favorite right here. Let me have everybody. Yeah, they get you a debit card so you won't keep a balance. You just like that swipe it. You're swiping, Leroy. You're swiping. Just I got it. I got overdraft. Swipe it. You can't even pay the overdraft. Swipe it. Unprotected. Just swipe it. So they get you to chase propaganda, psychological. Oh, I can get this. I can get that. And here's the thing. I was talking to my CPA last year, and I said to him, I said, you know, cars are quite expensive. He said, yes, they are. He said, but they don't tell people that. I said, what do you mean? He said, they tell people you got 8-9 years to pay for a car now. Yeah, I not even a mid-luxury car, just a standard car now, just a standard car. Can I make it plain? An entry-level car. You know how much it costs? $1,000 a month. So now look at it. If you're only bringing home $2,000 a month, that's about $500 a week. Really got to make $700, $800, $900 to be able to bring that home. If your rent's $1,200, your car payments $1,100, that's $2,300.
You are already in the negative before you drive out. Think about your lights, your water,
Yeah, that's what,
insurance.
that's my point. Food. Well, I know food got to be in there. Do I know? Who? Listen, I got 2 dead batteries right now. One in the 41 and one in the 73. I gotta charge. I gotta get rid of. Well, I probably need to change both of them. So I'm like, I got to wait before I get them batteries. They already dead. And no need to run it. And you know what God's trying to get you to chase? Your future.
Yeah.
Am I making sense? So I'm about to end the class, but can you read that again about propaganda? I just want to read it because I'm gonna do this in Greenwood. And while she's getting together, I want to say this. People are talking about the fast, and we reposted it. And they're not looking at the fast the right way.
Come on.
The fast is about a sacrifice.
Yes.
And one of the adjectives to that sacrifice is becoming more spiritual aware of your surroundings. You can't do that and discern the hand and the workmanship of the enemy. Because the enemy is deceitful, but society and propaganda tells you that you have no enemy. Watch this. They tell you no is your enemy. They're going to tell you yes so you can jump off the cliff. They don't tell you no. People that tell you no, you cut them off. People that tells you, yeah, that's my friend. And then they take all your money. And then the next thing you know, 10, 15 years, you haven't cleaned up your credit. You haven't done anything. You haven't laid out a plan for yourself. You don't know how to work in the system. And so then you're trapped. And you guys are young. And so I question, it's not that you're not capable. I'm questioning your prep. The things people don't see. And let me make it plain. You are my replacement. And if you're broken down now, and I'm going to be 65 this year, you making me hold on when you should be able to step in my shoes. And I should be able to pour salt and wisdom into you so life and people can go on. And you still somewhere, let me tell you, I tell this to leaders. How can you lead others when you can't lead yourself? And if you can't effectively communicate with you, how can I trust you with God's people? So you ready?
Yes.
Read this again, and this is going to be my close.
Psychological warfare.
Psychological. So you need to see. Now, that's not talking about spiritual or generational curses. This is just psychological. I would call it the trap of mankind. Come on.
Using propaganda, misinformation, and psychological tactics to influence enemy emotions, motives, and behavior, aiming to demoralize them, sway public opinion, or strengthen allies, often through media, rumors, or covert operations. Tactics range from spreading false news.
Quit talking about everything. Come on.
And you also got to stop listening to everything as well. Let people be your trash can.
That's why my second service is don't be the mop.
Tactic range from spreading false news, black propaganda, and truthful but biased info, white propaganda, to electronic warfare and creating fear, impacting morale, increasing confusion, and weakening resolve, with defenses involving critical thinking and information verification. Goals and types: demoralize and break will, to make adversaries lose the will to fight or resist. Influence opinion, to sway populations or enemy soldiers to support one's position.
Let me make that plain. Most people work. Nothing wrong with a degree, nothing wrong with the skills, nothing wrong with certificate. The problem is the people that's telling you that they're going to promote you, you don't know they're going to add another step to the process that they know you don't have. They're going to lead you to a cycle to where you think that you have an inroad with them. And they are rewriting the qualifications for that position. And they're going to leave you out. Come on.
Strengthen allies, to boost the morale and resolve of friendly forces and civilians. Types of propaganda: white, truthful, cited source; gray, mostly true, no source; black, false or deceitful, fake source. Tactics used: propaganda, leaflets, radio broadcasts, videos, social media. Misinformation, spreading false rumors or fake news. Electronic warfare, jamming enemy communications. Emotional manipulation, creating fear, confusion, or inducing guilt. Winning hearts and minds, winning over populations through media or targeted messages.
So people target you. What do you think the first thing they target you for?
Your knowledge.
Your money. Because if they take your money, they know you're going to fight each other. Resources. Yeah. And I'll give you an example. I'm going to sit here and say, I'm coming over because your car is leaking oil. But I'm really coming over to steal your car. Manipulation. I get you to think less of yourself when you have an identity and I don't. I get you to give up your future to win over my friendship. I get you to break your relationship with the source of life because I never had a relationship with the source of life. So if I can get you deconnected to, can I make it plain? When God created man out of the dust of the ground, you figure out what the dust looked like. And when he said, I made you in my image, then why are people trying to destroy your image, but yet will go and get the very thing that you have, but they taught you to devalue it. And I tell you another one, I want you to finish reading. They'll teach you to work while they think. They will spark you to react. And this is not a specific ethnicity, so don't tell that lie. This is, what's the title?
Psychological warfare.
That's not even talking about spiritual warfare. That's not even talking about generational curses. You have never wrote down, and I didn't get a chance to do this earlier, you've never wrote down how many enemies you have before your feet ever hit the floor. So for the highly intelligent intellect, you need to make a list of how many enemies you have before your feet ever hit the floor. Your enemy is not a color. Your enemy is a hater of your development. Come on and read. I put the camera over here. I'm gonna leave because I got to go to the next service, but y'all can finish this. Come on.
Impact on individuals and society. Individual can cause anxiety, guilt, loss of group identity, withdrawal, or even refusal to fight. Societal undermines trust, creates division, alters belief systems, and fuels conflict. Defense against psychological warfare. Critical thinking, questioning information and sources, information verification, fact checking, and seeking multiple perspectives.
Okay.
Self
Put
awareness,
'em over there by my bed.
recognizing
Put that over
personal
there.
vulnerabilities to manipulation.
I'm gonna put
And
this in
lastly,
my-
resilience, strengthening internal belief
I'm
systems
gonna let y'all have
and
it.
national cohesion.